In 1896, a car moving slower than a person could walk killed a woman crossing the street, and the world didn't slow down for it. Here's the 130-year fight to make speed safe. It started as a curiosity, a carriage that moved without a horse, without hooves, without any of the instincts people trust in to keep them alive on the road, and nobody was ready for what that meant. Within a decade, that curiosity had a body count, and the machine kept getting faster anyway. Then the car stopped being a rich man's toy. One factory trick made it something almost anyone could afford, and streets belonging to pedestrians for centuries suddenly filled with untrained drivers. Arrests for simply crossing the road in the wrong place were already starting within a few years. As the death toll climbed alongside car sales, the industry's first move wasn't a safety feature. It was simply a faster road. So how did car makers survive that body count without changing the car at all? The real fix wasn't engineering, it was language. An industry-funded campaign invented a new kind of criminal, the jaywalker, convincing the country that if a car hit you, the fault was yours. That single idea would shape traffic law for the next 100 years, even as the cars themselves kept getting faster, heavier, and harder to survive. Decades in, the first real answer had nothing to do with horsepower or handling. It was something almost embarrassingly simple, a strap across the chest. One engineer's belt design would go on to save more lives than almost any invention in automotive history. Still, most manufacturers treated safety as optional, something you paid an extra for if you wanted it at all, until one book made that position impossible to defend. Suddenly, for the first time in 70 years, cars had to prove they could protect you, not just move you. But belts and airbags only protect you after something goes wrong. The next fight was about never letting it go wrong at all. And chasing that meant confronting an idea the industry never wanted to say out loud: that the driver wasn't the safest part of the car, but the single most dangerous one. So engineers started building something no one had ever trusted a machine with before: the decision itself. But what would it actually take for regulators to let a car drive with no one behind the wheel at all? The answer arrived in the worst possible way. In 2018, a self-driving car killed a pedestrian in Arizona crossing mid-block, and investigators found its software had never learned to recognize a jaywalker, 90 years after the industry invented that very word to protect itself. It forced years of stalled testing before regulators finally allowed the first fully driverless robotaxi service with no human backup on board at all. But from here, the road ahead stops being history and starts being a bet on where this all leads. Cities begin redesigning themselves around cars that never blink, never speed, and never get tired. Eventually, owning a car at all becomes the unusual choice, not the default one, a private machine you maintain, insure, and park, when a shared one simply arrives. By then, the very idea of a human hand on a wheel feels less like independence and more like the risk nobody can quite believe we used to accept. It took over a century to build a car that could protect us from the thing that made it dangerous, us. Watch our video on the evolution of ambulances to see how we solved that problem when seconds meant life or death.